How bored are you guys gonna be now with this video that I'm about to make? This video I'm about to make, ladies and gentlemen, is about chimneys. It's about a relic from the past. It's a remnant of bygone days which is no longer utilised. And yet they're still there. They're standing majestically and proud upon the roofs of all the old buildings. And so I'm walking down this road here like I've walked 1,000 times, and I look at this building over here, and it's a nice building, and it's probably Edwardian, may even be Victorian, but look at the size, look at the enormity of that chimney stack and those chimney pots. Now, in the old days they used to make a lot of effort to decorate those chimney pots, and I was looking at that and thinking, well, who decides how high above the level of the windows these chimney stacks need to be to carry the smoke away? Because when we look at a relatively modern building, like that one over there, we see that that's not anything like as high proportionately. The windows, let's say from the top of the window to the top of the chimney stack, it's about 10 feet. But here, it's about 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, about 16 feet, I would think. And so then over here, we've got a good 12 or 15 feet on that chimney stack. From the top of the window I'm talking about. So when the wind is blowing and howling around and you've got your fire on to warm the house, the smoke isn't going to get blown back in the windows if you should have them open. Which is kind of like a contradiction, because if like you've got the fire on, then it's cold outside, and so you'd have the windows closed. And so, you know, wondering about the necessity to have the chimney stack so high. But when we look at them, and those chimney pots, kind of like nice and decorative, and they get very, very elaborate. And you know, you can pay up to 150 quid for one of those to stick in your garden and have plants growing out of it. So, oh, I can't do that one over there now because the sun's just come out from those clouds. But we can see a modern one over there, and that's real boring, isn't it? They've not made a feature out of it. You see, in the old days they seemed to be proud and they'd make a feature. In the old days, in lots of houses, they liked to be decorative, and you know, they didn't want anything to look like it was an eyesore. But you see these over here. I mean, that's a nice chimney stack. And it's kind of like you've got king and queen on top of there, yeah? Isn't that, you know, bizarre? It's thoughtful, isn't it? When you put two variants of chimneys, and there could be pieces of chess, king and queen. And so we have a smaller one here, built out of stone. But it seems the going rate is about 10 feet. 10 feet above the top of the window. And these here, nothing too exciting about those. But again, you've got a variance. You've got two variances. They're never the same. They're always different. And so that's curious, isn't it? And these days, those jackdaws nest in them. Around here, the jackdaws are nesting in all those chimney pots. Now, there's lots of old houses around here, and this one down here looks pretty exciting in the distance there. Now, this one in comparison, this one's a very bland affair, and obviously there's been some maintenance and they took off the chimney stack or the chimney pots and they put those new ones there, and so they're really crap, and I think they do that to keep the crows or the jackdaws from nesting in them. So we'll walk down here a little bit more, and we can observe them all. And up here, well, you have got two the same here, two like kings, and they're very nice, like ornamental pieces, aren't they? They're very in keeping with like chess pieces. And I'm going to turn around in a minute. Now up here, I don't know whether they were the originals. Doesn't seem to be, because it's got something modern on top, you see. So they've changed them for modern stuff. But these two over here, they haven't had any modern capping on them, and they are standing there in all their glory. Aren't they beautiful? And that whole chimney stack is nice and balanced, and it's got ornate brickwork in it. They've gone to lots of lengths to make that chimney stack look like a quality feature. It's not just some nasty adage which is required. No, they've spent money and time. They don't do that anymore. Everything's down to a price. And so, yeah, you know, it's all about observation, you see, because I'm walking and I'm observing and I'm present and I'm looking at all the world about me, and I've been looking for mushrooms, and bizarrely there's hardly any mushrooms at all this year. And I'm thinking, well, okay, it's not really been that wet. You know, it's kind of like getting on towards the end of October now. Are we going to have a late fungi season when the ground is all sodden, and then are they going to be manifesting? Or are we not going to be seeing them this year? You know, like all things, we can have a tree which will fruit in abundance one year, and then it will have a year or two off. That's what they do. They need to recuperate. And so maybe mushrooms en masse have done that, because I used to find field mushrooms, all the edibles, the agaricus, all over the place down these verges, and that I haven't found any. But what I'm saying here is, in this video, people, to notice these things, to have an awareness. You may just think, oh, chimney pots, that's really boring, that's a stupid video, Aaron. But just apply that to life. If you notice things, then you'll have a greater extent of awareness. Your consciousness will expand exponentially, because you are open and you look at how things are built. You look at how things are manufactured. You look at how the world is. You look at how things grow. And you look at the similes and the differences and all different sorts of things. And when you do this, then you build a much more complex collage of life, and it becomes much more nuanced. And so, of course, what is becoming nuanced? Your consciousness. Your consciousness is becoming nuanced. And so therefore your personality, your character becomes nuanced, and you are much more interesting Whereas the vast majority of people, they don't notice anything about anything. And when you start speaking to them about things, they don't know anything about anything, do they? And so, just a little thing about what I've been speaking to you today about just thinking a little bit deeper as to where these golf balls might be. Over the years, just apply a little bit of rationale, and you're going to be thinking, well, there must have been, you know, thousands of balls that have just been obscured under one leaf. And then over years and years, 2 leaves, 3 leaves, 10 leaves, 20 leaves. And so if you know that that's gone on, then it's a very simple affair just to make the abstraction, isn't it? Just to extract them. So we can see with the different periods of chimney tops the changes from the Victorian and Edwardian times, when the aesthetics of a building was very important, to the relatively more modern times when the aesthetics are really dull. Look at this over here. Look at that nasty little house there. I mean, that obviously was a piece of land which was barren, and that house has been built there maybe 20 years maximum. And there's been no thought in it. It's been absolutely super cheap. The roof is super cheap. It's just horrible. Just horrible. And then you've got these other like 1930s buildings, no thought gone into them at all. But of course, you know, this was during the war, where there wasn't that much money around. And then this one here would be Victorian, one of the original buildings from around this district. But again, the chimney stacks are modern. They would have been older. These are the modern boring terracotta. So you can see that that whole building's been refurbished. It's got new windows, and it's probably had a new roof. You can see the coping stones on the roof. They've all been, you know, repointed and everything, and that roof's very perfect. Look at all the slates, all the same size. Back in that day, those slates wouldn't have been the same size. They would have started off bigger at the bottom, then got progressively smaller towards the top, and they would have been thicker and more rugged. So, just keeping an observation about you people, because when you do that, your consciousness itself will become more nuanced.